If you're new here, well, honestly, everybody should be new here. This is going to be kind of my first podcast. I did post the video, but it was more from a live than an actual sit down with me talking. And I'm so sorry if it looks a little fuzzy or weird. I'm using my iPad because it's the only thing that'll work with my microphone right now. I guess I have the wrong one that doesn't connect to my actual camera. So just bear with me for today, okay? We're going to work on that. I don't know when, soon, but yeah, today I just want to kind of introduce myself and talk about my spiritual journey just that's led me to where I am now and to have the mindset and just the ideology that I do. If a lot of you follow me on TikTok, I post a lot more on there. I talk about just all kinds of things that I'm thinking in the moment and breaking down the Bible and mythology, which is the same thing I want to do here on my YouTube channel. I just want to make it longer and be able to talk for longer. And yeah, I've been supposed to have started my podcast and I eventually want to bring people on. So if that's something you're interested in, just DM me, especially if you're into this kind of stuff, right? Or even if you're not and you are just an open-minded person, I would love to just collaborate and maybe do something together. So yeah, just DM me if that interests you in any way. But just a little bit about me and how I kind of came to where I am today is about 7 years ago, I was really introduced to all this stuff, right? My daughter's father, I'm pretty sure he was going through his own kind of like beginning stages of awakening, right? And in spirituality, it'll just come and go. You'll have moments where it'll stop and you'll just stop focusing on spirituality and whatever. But so he introduced me to like some conspiracies, and I remember being livid and outraged, so mad that I was like, there's no way you know all this stuff and I don't, right? My ego was so hurt. I'm pretty sure we got into a huge arguments. But anyways, as time went on, we really just started, I really just started to like, okay, maybe this stuff really, really is happening, right? We ended up listening to a guy named Ralph Smart, and he would talk about veganism, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready for that. So we just did a 7-day challenge together, and I loved the way I felt on it. Decided to stay on it. And, you know, when you're going through your spiritual journey, it is meant for you to go alone, right? So the universe very much did that for me. So me and my daughter's father, we split up about a year into us dating, and that's when it really, really started for me. Right? So the spark of it, yes, was, and like for most people, will be from a divine masculine or a partner. But the real true awakening happened for me when I had to be by myself and learn who I truly am. So after we break up, I ended up moving closer to like where my mom is, right? And shortly after I moved there, I'm pregnant at the time and I have codependency issues, all kinds of issues still, right? So I get a boyfriend and we end up living together for 2 years, and right, I never regret anything that I ever do or relationships that I have, because I think they're so important for that moment, for needing to learn something. I needed to learn that lesson in the moment, and they needed to learn something from me. And I already think that it was a pre-existing contract, is what I call them. So yeah, me and this person, I knew we weren't supposed to be together, right? I literally felt it in my gut. I just knew that I was being codependent. So one day I just said to myself, right, and this is when I was getting deeper into my spirituality. When I had broken up with my daughter's father, the year that my daughter was born, a month after she was born, I went vegan, and I've been vegan ever since. It's been 7 years, and my daughter has been vegan her whole life. So I really give so much credit to that, because I can't explain how my mindset just shifted after I changed my diet. It took me deeper into spirituality, right? It took me deeper into people that would talk about energy, and I didn't even understand energy at this time. And I didn't even understand that everything was frequency and vibrations, right? So this is when that really all started for me. And I give so much credit to my diet and my lifestyle. Really, it's a lifestyle now, but at the time. Um, and yeah, so after that happened, I just knew that I wasn't supposed to be with this person, and my gut was telling me right. And I was starting to learn more about spirituality and more about being alone and knowing that that's what it takes. And so I came to him, and this is the first time that I like was big girl enough to just be adult and speak truth. And I remember just being like, I don't really think that we're meant to be together, and I think we should go our separate ways. And you guys, this was the first time I experienced like confirmation from the universe, really, or just a when you're doing and being authentic, that the universe will show you that and let you know that in return with things. So the very next day, my boss calls me, and anybody that knows me, if y'all know me, y'all know that I worked at Taco Bell my whole life since I was 16, right? So around this time, I'm about 20, 23, 24. And I had my daughter when I was at 21. That's when I started going through my spiritual awakening, if that kind of gives everybody a timeline. So around this time, I'm about 24, and my boss, she calls me, and I'm just a manager at the time, and she's like, I have to have an assistant, and you're the only person I could think of. You're the only person I trust. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, this is amazing, right? I'm just about to move out on my own. And now she's telling me that I'm about to move from making hourly to salary. So now I'm going to make double the amount of money I made last year, and I'm going to make that this year. So I'm definitely going to be able to afford everything now when I didn't think I was going to be able to, and I was worried about that. But I didn't let that stop me, because I was like, I have to do what I feel in this moment, and I don't feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. So that was the very first time that I experienced some kind of confirmation like that, right? So a couple more years go by, and me and my daughter were doing good. I ended up actually getting with a girl at this time, like dating a girl. And when I say that, when I think you meet people in life to really just teach you moments, and it's for lessons, and it's never meant to be just like have negative thoughts about the other person. So we worked together, and she actually was my boss, and she had came from another place. They had like went out of business, and man, she taught me just so much. She re-taught me to like love myself, basically, because I was like in a phase where I was kind of like, okay, I'm a bit weird. I was kind of in this depressive stage, right? I was like, I'm really just like weird, and I'm going through this new phase of like who I am, and I'm losing all of my old friends, and I don't really want to associate with the same people anymore. And I just feel so like a dark cloud, and it really was a dark night of the soul moment. Well, it was years, um, but anyways, meeting her, she really showed me just how kind of cool I was. And she really was so, so, so sweet, and reminded me that you don't have to just look at life so negatively. And I've never been a negative person, and she just kind of sparked that back into me of who I am, and I'll forever be grateful for that. But same thing that happened with her. I chose to be the bigger person and listen to my intuition. And I can't really remember how long it was, but I sat her down, and it was a very dramatic like goodbye, right? It was, but I just kind of like let her know that like, I'm super grateful, but I definitely think that it's time for me to kind of move on. And at this point, my daughter was going back and forth. Her dad had lived in Houston, and I'm living in Alabama at the time, right? And I hate to be away from my daughter. I can't stand it. So at this point, I'm thinking, what can I do to kind of shake up my life, right? I'm not really happy around the people at work, and just the place that I'm in, and just with anything or anyone. And at this time, I'm actually about to take over the store that I'm at. So I'm actually about to become a GM and about to make more money. But I just say no. And I text her, and I'm like, I'm going to quit, and I'm actually going to move to Houston. I'm going to just pretty much just pick up my life and just start somewhere else, right? Because I think that it's one of the biggest things you can do, and it's so powerful, right? Because you can just truly start to be this new person without anybody holding you back or making you feel like you have to kind of stay in this way that you were. For me, I was super, super quiet at work, wasn't speaking, wasn't anything. So I was kind of like this shy person, because it's just like, after learning about all this conspiracy stuff, it really can just take you into this just kind of like place where you feel like you're just like, oh dang, nobody listens to me, nobody even believes anything I'm saying, right? And you just start to pretty much lose all comfortability in anything or anyone that you know. So yeah, so that night I go home and I get on my computer and I'm like, okay, I can make anything happen. And I get this like spark in me, and I'm like, I'm gonna start applying for GM jobs, because at this point I already know what I'm doing. I've been here for 9 years. I literally, not to brag, but I'm the best on the line. I know how to handle situations. I know how to handle people, right? I'm just in a place where I'm starting to become a little bit more confident. So I apply for GM jobs, and GM is just general manager, right? So I have to use the same company that I'm with. So I look in Houston and there's no like jobs, right? The only place closest is in Austin. So I apply for those jobs anyways, and I, write my resume, and I'm pretty sure I put in there that I was looking to go to Houston. I don't know if I did. So anyways, the very next day they call me, and remind you guys, this is an application for Austin, Texas, which is not in Houston, Texas. It's like hours away. So this guy calls me, and he's an area coach. And what an area coach is, they have multiple stores. They have like 8 stores that they run. So 8 Taco Bells. So he calls me and he's like, I saw your application and I'm really interested and I'd love to bring you on board. And I'm like, oh yeah, like that's so awesome and I'd love to. But I was really looking more forward to hoping getting somewhere around the Houston area and getting a store around there. Right. And I explained to them that, that's just where my daughter is, and that's where her dad is, and that's just where I want to live. And you guys will never believe, another moment from the universe of just confirmation happens for me. And he says, well, he was like, it's your lucky day. He was like, I actually have the vice president with me in the car, right? And the thing about Taco Bell is everybody's pretty close once you get high up in Taco Bell. And so her name was Laura at the time, and she gets on the phone with me and she's like, yeah, I run the Austin area. I'm over everybody. I'm the vice president. Like, her and her husband run like multiple areas. And she's like, I run the Houston area. What part are you trying to like move to? So I like tell her, and I just get like chills talking about it, because it's just so true. So she's like, okay, I'm gonna contact your area coach and you'll just be like hearing from us. So the next day I get a call, and it's this guy, and his name was Jose. So he's this real uppity beat guy, and he gets on the phone. He's like, Ashley. And he's like, I know we don't know each other. And he's like, but do you believe in things happen for a reason? And I was like, oh, like, yes, sir. Like, it's right up my alley. Like, and so he's like, you'll never believe this. He was like, but they just told me that they're opening up a new store in my area in Houston, and we got a brand new store, and we're going to give it to you. And you guys, I literally was flabbergasted, right? I couldn't imagine that was like really happening. And so anyways, I'm like, okay, like I'll take it. When does it happen? So I have a couple months and I get all my stuff together and we move here, me and my daughter. Okay. So just to fast forward a little bit, a great time at work. I loved my employees. I had 33 employees. I made the schedule. I did the truck order, $1.7 million store. And I decided to just quit one day out of the blue. And I had seen another girl post about how, like, right, working for somebody else is like not what we're meant to be doing. And I'd always known that, and I wanted to quit, but I was like so fearful. And I heard her talking about how, just like in the Bible, when it says when you pray that you are to act as if it has already happened and not be fearful. So something in me told me to just quit and to not worry about how I was going to pay my rent, right? $1,500. How am I going to afford food, groceries, and all these things? And I knew that it was just time for me to quit. I was working 50, 60 hours a week, putting all my time into just working because that's just the type of person I am. I was never really getting to even see my daughter. I was having to bring her into the store with me and like going against rules and doing stuff that I didn't really want to do. So, anyways, we have a going away party for me at work, and I end up leaving. And it's been about 2 years now since I left, right? I'm 27 right now. So, within the past 2 years, I will say that my life has just completely shifted and changed for the absolute better. I have learned so much, and it's really a mixture of so many things, right? It's a mixture of conspiracies and learning who we truly are and tapping into different experiments and things and wondering why do all this, right? And it really just was me like taking a shift in how I started to study spirituality and learn. And so I really started to look at the more science aspect of things and different philosophers and psychologists and really started to tie all that together. And you guys, I became obsessed. The things that I feel like I've learned in the past 2 years compared to the 7 years of me thinking I knew so much and that I was so woke is amazing. I love the Bible. I love to decode it. I think it's truly talking about us and, it's talking about the alchemy within us and the alchemy within the skies. And it's talking about how we're the microcosm of the macrocosm. And it's talking about the sun going through the zodiac signs and how that influences us as well, right? And just learning the esoteric knowledge and just what a lot of these people already know has been so eye-opening for me. And I truly understand now why Da Vinci's paintings are famous and why philosophers are even known to this day. And I'm so happy to be in school for that right now, right? Because I truly have finally found my passion. I was in school for 4 years, didn't get one credit. I know that sounds crazy coming out of my mouth, but it's actually true. I truly did go all those semesters and didn't get one credit. But it's because I didn't have a passion and a drive, and I'm just that person that I have to be doing something that I love. And for me, I truly have found it, right? I don't want to use my degree in the same way that psychologists do. I don't want to be just your everyday counselor. I want to be just a spiritual life coach and to help people go through the same things as me. But I want to have knowledge and to know what I'm actually talking about and to be able to connect mind, spirit, body with all kinds of things and to connect all the dots. So yeah, that's just a little bit about my journey and how I got to where I am now. And yeah, on my channel, we'll just dive into all kinds of stuff, right? We'll dive into conspiracies. We're going to dive into just the spiritual journey and what it takes and the different stages you'll go through and how to come out of those and just how to even be your highest version of yourself, right? I want to tackle that. I want to talk on different experiments and CIA documents, and I want to dive into controversial things that is debatable, right? Like, is flat earth real, right? I want to talk about why I believe that, and I want to talk about why I believe all the things I do. And I just want to share just what I learned and my knowledge with those of you that I feel like are, weirdly aligned with me and that are here. And yeah, so if that seems like something you're interested in, please give me a follow, and I'll be posting every single week. That's guaranteed. So yeah, I'm super grateful for everybody that is here right now. And if you stayed this long to watch me, this is just kind of a little short video just about me. And I know it's probably was a bit boring, but yeah, I think it's super important to kind of know who you're even talking to, right? Because a lot of times in spirituality, you have no idea who you're even listening to. And a lot of these big time people that people watch, you got to have discernment to be able to see through and to be able to see when people are deceiving you and just saying what you want to hear. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me, and I hope to see you guys all here next week, watching my new video. So yeah, if you aren't already following my TikTok page, go do that. My name on there is Ashley Eckerly with an underscore, I think. And the rest of the social medias, I'm not really on there, but yeah. If anybody has any video ideas or would like to collab, maybe people that aren't into these things, some debaters, or even if you are, just comment or even message me on TikTok or something. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next week.